Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another video. I do have a huge list of videos for you guys, so I'm going to be pumping them out as fast as I can. Today, we are going to be talking about something that's kind of controversial, I guess, but what's harder, skiing or snowboarding? Alright, so before I get started and dive right into this, just a little background on myself. I originally started skiing when I was probably 8 years old. Made the switch over to snowboarding at some point in middle school and got into park at that point. Probably snowboarded for 5 to 6 years, and I have since switched back to skiing and have skied for probably 4 to 5 years at this point. Not really sure. But either way, I have multiple years in the park in both sports. I'm not like a professional in either sport, but I have experience with both. At this point, I'd probably say I'm better at snowboarding than I ever was in my life, and I'm better at skiing than I ever was in my life. So both sports, I'm the best I've ever been. So I feel like I have enough experience to talk about this. So in my experience, first things first, what's the easier sport to learn right off the bat? I'm going to go with skiing. And the reason being is, you don't have edges to worry about. You don't have to catch that back edge and smash the back of your head off the snow over and over and over. You don't have to catch the front edge and smash your face off the snow over and over and over. The only thing you really have to worry about is pizza, French fry, not getting the tips crossed and stuff like that. In my opinion, for the new rider who's new to both sports, skiing is easier to learn. You're going forwards, you're not going sideways down the mountain. The balance is easier because of that. The only thing I would say is if you have done board sports in the past, like skateboarding or wakeboarding, you're going to find it much easier to learn how to snowboard, I would say. But at the end of the day, if you're new to everything, I would definitely suggest starting with skiing, learning skiing, and then swapping over to snowboarding a little bit down the road. You'll have much more success at that point. Now, with that being said, I think riding in the park, when you really want to dive into park skiing and snowboarding, I would say snowboarding is easier to pick up in the park. For a lot of people, it's just really hard to figure out how to hit rails on skis, and that's kind of what I'm basing this on. So it's way easier to learn how to hit boxes and rails on a snowboard than how to hit them properly on skis. You can argue with me all you want on that, but if you're just learning how to 50-50 on a snowboard compared to how to hit a rail sideways or a box sideways on skis, there's no comparison. It's night and day. One is clearly much harder than the other. Now, when you get into board slides and stuff like that on a board, obviously it changes, but I'm saying at first, the very basics, I would say skiing is harder to get into in the park. You have two skis to worry about. They can get mangled up with a snowboard. If you're trying to learn how to 270 out, you don't have to learn how to pedal as you do on skis. When you're trying to switch up on a snowboard or do a swap or whatever, you don't have to worry about both skis doing it at the same time. You don't have to worry about crushing your balls off the rail. There's a little bit less intimidation factor there, but at the end of the day, I would say, like I said, when you're first starting out, when you just want to learn how to ride, I would definitely suggest starting with skiing. I think it's much easier. Snowboarding has a much higher learning curve. It's just way more difficult to hop right onto a snowboard and be good at. I know plenty of people that have hopped right onto a snowboard and it took them an entire year to even learn how to go down a blue square. I know people, and those same people I've taken skiing before, and I've taught them how to get down a black diamond and even hit park jumps in one single day. So there's a night and day difference between learning and then taking it to the park. Like I said, I think at first anyways, skiing in the park is a little bit more difficult than snowboarding, but at the end of the day, either one is going to get difficult once you really get into it. Once you get the core riding down and the basic park stuff down, both of them get very difficult in their own right, and they're both extremely fun, extremely enjoyable. You can choose whatever one you want to start out with. It's up to you. It's personal preference. Honestly, I love both sports, and I try to make it a point to ski and snowboard a lot each season. I just love both sports. They both have their own feel. They both have their own style, and they're just both very fun. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Is snowboarding harder? Is skiing harder? Is park on a board harder? Is park on skis harder? What do you think? I would love to hash out some arguments with you down there. Thank you guys for watching. If you loved the video, smash that like button, subscribe for more, and I'll see you later.